Hey, this is Ryan from Dakota Angler and Outfitter, and today we're going to be tying the Crawdaddy crawfish fly. I've used this fly a lot for the past quite a while, 6 or 8 years, and it's always been a good smallmouth and largemouth bass fly for me. I've caught walleyes, white bass, a variety of warm water species on it, and it's a nice easy tie that kind of took inspiration from Dave Whitlock's Near Enough Crayfish. We're using a size 2 Gamakatsu B10S. We're using 280 denier burnt orange ultra thread. Start your thread at the front of the hook, and like mini warm water flies, build kind of a base that you're going to set your eyes on. You want your eyes about a third of the way back, I would say, roughly between a third and a quarter. Oops. And then tie your eyes down. Make sure you really cinch them down. We're using medium double pupil lead eyes. If you just really make sure you get those nice and cinched down, your fly will look a lot better for a lot longer, and it's a lot more durable. So we've got the eyes on. What we're going to do for the tail, the legs kind of on this fly, is take, I usually prefer to alternate the colors in it, so we're going to take 4 of these olive perfectly barred silly legs, tie those in right behind the eye, just kind of cover up those butt ends of the rubber legs. We're going to put dubbing over them later anyways. And then I'm going to take 4 more of these chartreuse and black barred rubber legs and put in. And this is another fly that you can be quite creative with. I mean, the particulars about it, you can use whatever colored rubber legs you want a lot of times. I just like to mix it up and use kind of a combination of different colors. Gives it a nice contrast, I think. So pull those back and bring them even to about the point of the hook. And make sure they sit on top. And rubber legs have this tendency to really wiggle around, so just make sure they're all kind of where you want them. And then I'd trim that. Scoot the camera over a little bit. Roughly a hook length, maybe a touch longer. Kind of stretch them tight. You don't want to stretch them too much because that makes them, the length of them will never be even that way. About like that. So there, you've got your legs. And we're going to take an orange Dave Whitlock SLF dubbing. We're going to make a little hot spot at the back of the fly, and I like making this pretty big. Your legs are going to go on, your claws I guess I should say, are going to go on in front of this, and it makes your claws stand out, kind of stay out from the fly a little better. So start your thread there, start wrapping your dubbing, and you don't want it to go very far forward. I mean, that's about as far forward as you want it to go. So then just make it into a little kind of round ball of dubbing there. And then we're going to take a couple pieces of Brahma hen hackles, kind of pick some nice kind of round shaped ones like this, and those are going to be your claws actually on this fly. So then you're going to strip off the fuzzy part of the feather. Be kind of careful with these. These are pretty delicate feathers. And I'll flip the vise over. And you want obviously a claw on each side. I like them pretty big, so they're kind of exaggerated looking. So a lot of times I'll tie them in, and if you pull down on the hackle stem, it'll pull that feather up a little bit. And I like them to sit like that. So you can trim off your extra. And you want them kind of out from the fly like that as well. It'll keep them kind of propped up that way. And with the second feather, always kind of make sure that your fly's symmetrical. So make sure your claws are about the same size. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'll tie it in like just parallel with the hook. Do about 3 wraps, and then pull on this one. You'll pull up on it we'll make it kind of go angled like that. Tie that one down well. And make sure they're both kind of angled out from the fly like that. And now we're going to take an orange Nature Spirit barred schlappen feather. Make just a little tie-in point on it. So strip it back, trim off the end so you have just a little triangle to tie in there. You'll tie that in right where you ended your claws. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to take some brown Dave Whitlock SLF dubbing. And don't be afraid to make this fly pretty meaty. You want it to be, crayfish are pretty meaty little creatures, and you want your fly to be pretty stout as well. So make kind of a big rope of dubbing. Slide it up to the hook. Start it right in front of the claws and making sure your claws don't move from your dubbing. And then wind that forward right up to the eyes. Like so. And then we're going to take and wrap this up to the eyes. So make sure you kind of fold it back as you're wrapping it. I like to keep the hackle pretty close together on this fly. Give it kind of a big fuzzy look. So you'll probably get 4 to 5 wraps out of that. And kind of pull some of your extra fibers up. And you get up to here. And then tie it down. Like that. So you got kind of a nice fuzzy looking crayfish pattern. It's got a pretty big profile that way. And then this step isn't necessary, but I take 2 more rubber legs and keep them pretty long. You're going to put 2 on each side. And what I do, so you've got 2 rubber legs and the strand is left long. You take and just fold it around your thread like this, and you'll tie it down right on top of the hook. Give it a couple extra wraps, and then you can pull them to the side and tie down each set. So you've got two pretty long rubber legs on each side. A lot of times if you can't get them where you want them, you can tie them down facing forward and then flip it around and tie it down facing the direction you want it to be, like so. And I'll trim those, just a little past the claws, I would say, like that. And then take some more of that same brown SLF dubbing we've been using, and you're going to go around the eyes and make a little head. And again, don't be afraid to make it pretty fat, but don't go too big because the eyes are already pretty rotund anyways. You'll probably have to add some dubbing too. Everybody always wants to use too little. So then go around the eyes, and really all you're doing around the eyes is kind of covering up your thread. The eyes are already really big, kind of meaty looking, so you don't need to put a whole big rope of dubbing around them. Like so. And then take whatever's left over and just kind of make a nice little tapered snout to your fly. I like it to be kind of a short, fat taper going up to the dumbbell eyes. Like so. Sometimes when you're using this much dubbing, it really likes to slide around too. Alright, then bring your thread right behind the eye. So all your legs are kind of splayed out. Our claws are still splayed out. And the hackle's kind of big and buggy looking. You've got a nice tapered front to the head. Then you can whip finish. Like that. And with this heavy a thread, make sure you really pull on it, make sure everything's cinched down where it should be. And that's it. It's kind of a real buggy, crazy looking fly, but I've caught a lot of, especially smallmouth, really like this fly. I've caught quite a few largemouths on it as well. It's just a great kind of all-around warm water pattern to have, and you can adjust the colors and size to match whatever size crayfish your local fish are eating. Thanks.